Hey YouTube, Mike here. How we doing today? Hope we all had a very good week. I hope this video comes out a little bit with some brightness, but I lost a light back behind me during a storm and had a little fiasco with the electrical panel. So I got an electrician coming in next Monday, most likely to increase the panel. I built a vanity mirror for my daughter, for my other daughter to give to her for her birthday, which was yesterday, and she's the one that does my editing. And I started filming it, and I kept blowing breakers. So I just stopped it, and that was it. And now I got this panel I got to get changed out. Okay, today, as you can see behind me, I have my squares and my marking gauges and my marking knives. Got quite a few questions about the woodpecker stuff that I have, and what type of marking gauges, what type of knives. And since I started practicing doing the hand cut dovetails, I brought out a couple of the different marking gauges that I had in storage, and I brought them back here to use. So let's start. For starters, as you can see, I have a double board here. I'm going to be building a small workbench with a front vise, a Gratz front vise, and I'm going to be using this angel wood. It's very hard, dense wood, and just picture it upside down, and this will be the leg, so it'll be flipped. They're 20mm holes. I bought this, got a very good price on it. It was discontinued. I'm going to domino it, and then I'm going to put the front vise here and another leg here, and I'll be able to work off of it doing the dovetails and the joinery. So, the squares. We have a multitude of different squares. I have two different types of woodpecker square. One is a 12-inch and one is an 8-inch. They're very good machined aluminum anodized, very accurate. As you can see, I have an oldest type square, which is actually a Stanley number 46, which is basically this square. It's just that it's hardwood with brass edge. It doesn't have the double break here. So, but I do use them. This is in my drawer with my tools. My woodpecker, as you can see through the videos, are in the back. And basically, with a square, you take your ruler. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You take your ruler, you mark out 6 inches, but what I like to do is I like to leave the pencil there. Take the square and bring the square to the pencil and mark my line. Since I'm a lefty, I find it to be easier for me. Say I want 5 inches. So I mark 5 inches. I like to draw the pencil to me. So I get the square on there and I draw the pencil down to me. So same with any square, the T-square, same thing. I want to get a line here. I put the pencil mark, I bring the T-square to it, and down. My other square, this T-square, I use a lot, especially on the bigger boards. It's 24 inches long. Again, it's a woodpecker, but it has, as you can see, 1-inch increments where you could put your pencil in and drive a line down at, say, 1 inch. Now, of course, this would all have to be, you just drive your line down and you got a 1 inch. But the beauty about this is, and I'll use my mechanical pencil, you can go, and I'll go up to the camera here so you could see it. There's the smaller increments, got the 1/8, 1/4, up to 1 inch, going all the way up to 24. Then you have the 16th up top. You have to use a mechanical pencil into the hole. So say I wanted to make a line at, say, 1 3/16, bring out the mechanical pencil. Now, yes, this is a woodpecker pencil. It came with 3/16, and then you got it very easy. You scribe your line. Oh, I'm not even through. I need more lead here. So 3/16. And now I'm at 1 3/16. And you could do that, and I'll show you the Incra stuff that I have down here at the bottom. But a T-square is very good, and basically, because you could do both sides. Where a square, you know, once you're getting down to, say, this end, you're off the board. So you have to flip it to give you the stability. But with a T-square, and of course being longer, you know, once you get down to the end of the board, you still have the stability here to mark your lines there. Now, a very good pencil. I keep a sharpener right here to sharpen the pencil to get a nice crisp line. But if you want a really nice crisp line, well, let me finish up the squares here. You got your triangle, which is your 90 and your 45 again, but it's also good. The squares also are good, you know, to check your 90 when you assemble a board. You can even check square on the top of the board once you cut. Now these don't have, they just have the markings for the measurement. Now, you could even use, this is the corner brace, which is from Woodpecker, your clamping corner, but you can also use this as a square. Square edge, mark your line. These are 6-inch. And these are used when you're clamping. You know, you can clamp to make a 90, but you can also, and check 90, you can also use it as a square. Then you have your multi-squares. As you can see, I have a couple of different ones. Same way, works the same way, 45. But the beauty about this also is it's a beautiful depth gauge. So say I wanted to get the depth here. I lock it in, and now I can transfer the depth to here, and then scribe my line, and now I know that this here would be the same depth as that. That's the beauty about it. This you could use also on your table saw. You can mark out, because if you look, you have it's 1 inch from here to 1 to 12 here, and 1 to 12 here. So you can tell your depth. Say you want a 1 inch, something that's 1 inch. Lock it in at 1 inch, and now you have 1 inch. All right, if anybody has this Craig, which is also like a depth, but it also becomes a square. You just loosen this up. There's a notch in here, right there, and now you have a square. I mean, it's a great tool. You know, it's a depth, it's a marker, it's a square, and it's a level. And again, it's almost 3/4. You mark your line. It's a square. And it's not expensive as the Woodpeckers. So it's a good multi-tool to have when you need something quick. And I keep it right here. What else do we have? Oh, I got the tiny square, which is actually almost like a machinist square. It's a small square. Again, just hold it on an angle. You know, it's off the, and then just scribe it. Then the last thing I have is the Woodpecker straight edges. 12 inch, 24, and I just purchased the 36. But if you see here on the end, this is a separate piece you buy. It actually turns the straight edge into a square. Now, Woodpecker designed it so that you could still use it as a straight edge, but now I can use it as a square. square up my lines. All right, so now that's your pencil. Now you have marking gauges. I have 3 different marking gauges. Swiss steel, which has no handle. This is my pretty much go-to marking gauge. Then I have a short, stubby PFE Feifel marking gauge. And then I have a Japanese, which is a marking knife. So instead, it actually can be used to take off very small pieces of wood. If you had, just say you ran into a router and you had a little piece on the end, you can scrape that off. But it's a Japanese style marking gauge. And with a marking gauge, with a marking knife, let's use the short, let's just use the short square. With the marking knife, actually let me get on the smaller piece, because then I can show you the full thing. So, very easy at first. Then you can go a little harder, and a little harder. Then you can take your pencil, and you can run your pencil right down the marking line. Now the beauty about that, especially like if you're going to do a dovetail or a mortise, is that it gives you a purchase for your saw to start cutting. It's in there. Or it gives you a purchase for your chisel to get right into that marking line. Not have to worry or try to get it onto the pencil line. As far as with the Japanese knife has a little bit different bevel on the front, and it's more of a hollow ground, where this is it's beveled out like a chisel on one side. Same with that, one side. This actually has a hollow ground on both sides. Again, make your mark, put your knife up against it, move the square to it. And this actually makes a very deep groove. Look at that groove. And it's very easy to follow the line with your pencil. Look at that. And I think it was like $19 for this. Oops, wrong one. And you know what's so funny? There's a sticker on it that says made in Japan. All right, the marking gauges. I have, I have 3, but there's really 2. The only difference is the bottom of these. The bottoms are a little different. They're both dual purpose gauges. So they have the one pin, the single pin, and then the double pin to do, like say, mortise and tenon, or if you're going to do, say, a dado in a piece of wood, again, the same thing. Brass, so that it prevents wearing out. Your thumb screw. You have your adjustment. So there is, on this one, there's measurement. But let's just say you wanted to get a groove. You're doing a dado. You want to get a groove like that. You bring that in. You lock this down. Now you got the thickness of the wood right there. Or you just take your ruler. Say you wanted to do a groove 2 inches, or let's just say 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches. Take your piece of wood. And this is the reason I want to build this bench, because it's a little difficult with the Festool to, I mean, you can't just say it's at the MFT table. As you can see, it's very hard to get it. That you have to have it on like a, you have to do it this way. And the front vices are much better. So with this, you just make your groove all the way down, and now you have your 1.5 inch groove all the way. So both of these are basically the same. Then you have the roller style. There's a couple of things you got to check with this. The roller blade is similar to the, if you're familiar with replaceable tip lathe chisels, that you can replace the tips. There's round, there's square, there's pointed. It's the same thing. This here is reverse thread. You got to make sure that this is tight here. There is some numbers on it. There is markings. For me, at least, it's hard. And you got to make sure that this is tight. The wheel, it is replaceable. So you just got to make sure that it's tight. And see, you can take the wheel off. And again, with this marking gauge, it's a little bit different than the striker with the point on it. This one, you gotta make sure inward pressure and down, and it's actually just shearing, rolling with the rolling. This is rolling in with it. It's not rolling, it's just shearing, just like the blade with the, the point, making the groove. Again, with all your lines, you should highlight it with a pencil so that it's better to see. But you got your roller style, you have your pin style. There's even a Japanese style, which I ordered, a lot larger. That I'll show once I get it. But again, with any of the squares and your marking gauge, just, you want 5 inches, put your knife there, bring the square over, and just go right down. 1, 2, 3, there's your gauge. There's your, there's your line. Now, let me show you a little trick here. Here it is. Let me show you a little trick with the marking gauge. Say you wanted to do a mortise and tenon. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's pick this gauge here. Let's get a chisel. Let's get this wood out of the way. And let's find, this is good. Let's get the festool clamp. Get this in here. So you can see it. Now, say you wanted to do a mortise and tenon. And I just cut myself with the pin. All right. You want to do a 3/4 mortise and tenon. As you can see, the adjustment slides back and forth. It starts at 1/4 inch, okay, and it'll work its way back to 4.5 inches. So, say you wanted to do a 3/4. You take your chisel and you set the chisel with the 2 pins at the top. You don't want to have the chisel resting all the way down, because as you can see, it's tapered. So you want the point. So just get it to the point using your thumb. Push this over and then lock this down. Now, it's a heck of a lot easier if this was locked into the vise, into a vise. Now, you want to find center. So what you want to do is you want to also back this off a little bit, keeping your finger on this to keep the adjustment. Back this off. Oop, I moved it. Push down, then lock it. Now, you want to find center, because you want to have your tenon. What you do is pretty much try to find the center of the board. Then holding down, bring this in to the piece of wood. Make your 2 lines. Take your pencil and mark those. Now reverse it. I'm spot on. But just say I wasn't spot on, which I didn't want to be. You see where I'm getting at? You make 2 more marks in it. And it could be up or down a little bit. And then you make your marks again. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can see that. Let me zoom this in a little bit. You see, you can almost see there's 2 different marks. Now what you want to do is you want to bring the gauge, you want to take the gauge, get it to the center, loosen this, bring this over, tighten it back down, and now you're in your center of the wood. Then of course you would have how far down you want to go. Let's just say you want to go down that far. Of course you'll have a mark on this side. Then you take your saw. Again, you got your marking line. So you'll be able to perfectly saw down this wood, saw in, and now you have your tenon. Now, to do the mortise. Same thing. You already have this set. You want it, say you want it, you know, you're doing 3.5 inches. So you mark. Bring it over. There is 3.5 inches. Now you want the center, start it, get it right up against it, drag it down, highlight your lines. Right? And now you take your, well, also, you would take your marking gauge, get it on the line, take your marking gauge, get it on the line. Now you got your 4 lines, take your chisel, drive it in. Take your chisel, drive it in, and then take your little relief piece out, and now you can start chiseling away at your wood. And now, of course, it's 2 separate pieces of wood, and that's what you got. Let's see, are we back? And there you go. It's like almost, it's perfectly in line with the chisel, 3/4 of an inch. If you follow these lines, 2 separate pieces of wood, you got your mortise and tenon. Okay. I hope this video was helpful. Answered questions on the squares that I use, and my marking gauges, and how sharp the marking gauge points are. Pretty sharp. All right. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for all the subscribes, all of the likes, and all of the comments. If you want to ask a question, or if you would like a Mike Switch sticker, I'm going to include my email below. I'm going to include the Woodpecker's website, and you can scroll through it. Woodcraft has a good selection of yes, Woodpecker products. But I'll include the website so you can see all the different pieces. I don't want to make this video so long, so I'll do my Incra stuff on another video. It's a little bit long. It's going to be a little bit long. I don't want to make this video so long. So, yeah, I'm going to include my email. Send a question, send a comment, send your info. We'll mail you out a sticker. All right? I guess I'll see you on the next video, right? All right, YouTube, thank you, and you all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.